Hi, students. So, with respect to Essay 4, I thought I'll just kind of, just in general, talk about the two essays that are before us. And as you know, the two essays, the first essay by Rick Perlstein, he's still a very active writer. And I can't remember when this was published. Was it? I'm trying to recollect. It was 2001, 2007, around that time. Um, but anyway, it's a really interesting take, and some of the words that he uses are also pretty interesting. So if you can give, I mean, essentially what he's talking about, is the activism that used to happen in the colleges and in the universities in the 60s. So he's looking back at a time when social change, political changes on subjects of war, on subjects of human rights, women's rights, etc. Many of these things used to happen on college campuses. There was a tremendous amount of activism, and if you happen to, be in discussion with somebody who maybe, went to Berkeley or some other California campus, in the 60s, etc., they would definitely tell you, uh, you know, what fun it used to be. I've heard some of them use the word fun like this. It used to be so much fun. We used to be always in this. We would be vocal about this issue and we would be vocal about that issue. And there would be a lot of activism happening on campus. And so it seems like Rick Perlstein is kind of referring to that. And for him, he's kind of defining college from that perspective. So, and what he says, when he says, look, where is that? What's the matter with college? Where is that college? Where is that atmosphere? Yeah, things have changed. Things are not, as heavily um, invested in activism anymore. In fact, with the rise of the internet and the wide usage of it, things have really changed in terms of how the public and how the campuses discuss certain issues. So things have really changed over time. That's kind of how I'm seeing all of this and in terms of what Rick Perlstein is also saying. So let's see. He says, college as America used to understand it is coming to an end. Okay, with the rise of the universities and with the reputation of the universities in that era, yeah, there was. Um, College had become synonymous in a way, or the university colleges had become synonymous with bringing about great amounts of change. College, in fact, it wouldn't be surprising if an upcoming politician or someone who was standing for elections to be president, etc., they were actually dipping in and seeing what was happening, what were the issues that were being debated among students, among teachers and students, among between teachers, in that era in the college campuses. And based on that, many decisions used to be made politically. So it was quite a interesting era, quite an interesting, I would say, personality the colleges and slash universities had at that time. So that appears to be, what Rick Perlstein is referring to. By the way, he's still a very active writer, like I said, and you could find him on Twitter if you had time to watch videos of, like I think there are some videos where he's invited to talk. And these are FaceTime, not FaceTime, I would say, video conferences that often folks have with writers. So, you're always welcome to research those things and read those things, or hear those things. But I'm just kind of going over just the bare minimum that you need to write a good paper, right? So, because but the idea here is that you write a good paper, which means that you are successful in following the prompt and producing a good argument. That's kind of, why I'm kind of going over this. Okay, so let's see. So you will see like what I'm talking about. You will see these things kind of brought up by him, by Pearlstein. And let's see. He talks about a wave of campus activism. Oh yeah, all the issues. Yeah, he talks about quite a few issues. This is what happened, and that's what happened, and so on. There was something that I wanted to show you guys. Uh, let's see. Let me just kind of read the last two paragraphs here. Carolyn hopped on a community service track in high school, continued in college, and plans on a career working in the same kind of service bureaucracy after graduation as she does now. Jonathan will experience the same sort of continuity. He has embraced a worldview in which erasing the distinction between the university and the world outside, it is the entire point. See, so he's kind of comparing to how things were in the past to now in the present. Some of these kids indeed might end up having more of a college experience when they enter the workplace than beforehand. The workplace may be more surprising and maybe even more creative. So, the lines have become blurred in a way, is the take here. Why aren't people blurred, in the sense blurred between the workplace and the university? Because, many colleges, many universities where students want to be trained for the workplace rather than get a whole lot of general education. So they want to be trained, they want to get the skills for the workplace. And so colleges and universities revise their curriculum based on the needs of the society, based on the needs of the economy, based on the needs of what the students of the students. So it's always fluid. These things are continuously changing, no matter where we go in the world. Why aren't people paying attention to the campuses? Because as a discrete experience, college has begun to disappear. My radical, alienated friends brought up the University of Chicago's marketing materials. Bucolic images of a mystic world apart where 18-year-olds discover themselves for the first time in a heady atmosphere of cultural and intellectual tumult. But college no longer looks like that. So he's talking about friends who, are fishing out old posters, like this is how marketing used to be. This is how, you know colleges would market, like this is where you're going to be discovering your first experience of this, your first time, revolting against something, your first time something else. So that's kind of how it used to be marketed. But college no longer looks like that. They wondered how long the admissions office thought it could get away with it before students started complaining they had been swindled. So if we do the same kind of marketing that they did, in the 60s, colleges don't look like that, right? It's not. It's very different now. The atmosphere is different. The issues we bring up is different. The way things run is different. I posed a question to a brilliant graduating senior, someone I have been friends with for years. They're assuming that the marketing is for students, he explained. It's not, it's for parents. So who had, gone to college back when it was college? Okay, so he's really, in Rick Perlstein's mind, he has college defined in a certain way, and that's his experience. That's what he saw. That is what was happening when he was growing up and when he was in college. So it makes sense, right? It does make sense that after all, we define things and we think things in a certain way because of what we see around us, correct? And so he based his knowledge on what he has seen and how he mulls it over, and the experiences he has had and the ones around him have had. Okay, So then in response to that, we have Liz Addison's 2 years are better than four, where she kind of challenges Rick Perlson. It's like, what do you mean college has changed, and then she feels like, he is kind of being a little uppity about the whole university. She calls it the university of privilege. So she feels, he's a little, come on, this is where, so she kind of she's not happy with she definitely wants to she's putting up her counter argument. She wants to definitely oppose his thought processes when it comes to, because with her experience, with the kind of issues she has had, she found a fantastic community college, things work for her, and she has moved on, right? Oh, pardon me, this we do not need. Let me just erase this, take a second. I don't need this. Okay. And all right. So let's see. Oh, what am I doing? Pardon me, students. Okay. So I'm using ScreenPal, and they are always putting up new things. I'm seeing, oh yeah, exit drawing. Exactly. Okay. Uh, So let's see. Okay. So she talks about Pearlstein, and she says, yeah, I think that what really kind of is important to her is to oppose Pearlstein when he says college is no longer as important as it used to be. I think not that important for the individual, not that important for the society, not that important for the nation. I think, yeah, that can be quite a hit to someone who is engaged in college, who is, especially for teachers like us, who we are working through things in a different manner, not the way, things used to be in the 1960s at universities. So that can be quite a hit when somebody says, well, it's not that important anymore. I think it touched this lovely young lady, student, Liz Addison, and she opposed Rick Perlstein. So she says, when Mr. Perlstein and friends say college no longer holds importance, they mourn for both the individual and society. Yet, arguably, the college community, the community college, pardon me, experience is more critical to the nation than that of former beatnik types who, lest we forget, did not change the world. That's revolutionary types. And she's kind of like, how much did you change the world, right? So she's really challenging him there. The community colleges of America cover this country college by college and community by community. They offer a network of affordable future, of accessible hope, and an option to dream in the core light of day. Is it perhaps not more important to foster students with dreams rather than building a takeover? Whoa! So she's really very, very, I mean, she's using the right words at the right moment and targeting the right, notion of the author of Rick Perlstein. So let's see. I'm going to just stop first. So I'm given so many minutes, so I just kind of stopped to see like how much more I had left. So I have to wrap this up very fast. Um, So I believe the community college system to be one of America's uniquely great institutions. I believe it should be celebrated. So you kind of got the idea, right? I'm sure what I'm not doing the best job, in terms of really explaining everything, but you kind of have an idea as to what Rick Perlstein was going for, like what he was trying to express, and how Liz Addison is actually, in a way, a little bit offended because one of the things that Perlstein says is quite can be quite hurtful to someone who is passionate about education and college as it exists now. So and so she writes her response to his. So what are we doing in essay 4? I want you to just kind of take a look at what Perlstein says, what Liz Addison says, and then now you have both sides of the issue. There is an argument about colleges, there's an argument against. So as they exist now. So now you can decide, what do you agree with, what do you disagree with, and you kind of put in your own ideas about what you feel. You might disagree with any of these two authors, you could agree with both of them. Either way, you're putting your 2 cents, you're putting your original ideas into this paper. I hope this helps. Take care. Bye.